The story begins by showing a highly prestigious high school for the rich students, and that school is Cheongdam International High School. This school adheres to the principle of wealth. The richer the parents, the more respected they will be at the school. The students there would also bow to other students who had rich parents. Their annual tuition fee is $100,000. Parents who send their children to Cheongdam International High School mostly work as directors, hospital owners, and other prestigious jobs. There are no parents who work only as employees, merchants, or other ordinary jobs. With the wealth they have, they can do as they please. They can also buy anything. In fact, at that school, the teacher has no pride in front of those rich people. However, underprivileged students can also attend Cheongdam International High School with a scholarship because of their intelligence. But on the other hand, their lives will certainly not be peaceful because they will surely be bullied by the rich students. And that's the dark side of Cheongdam International High School. On the other hand, there is a female student named Kim Hyein. She's a student from a female high school. She is not the daughter of a rich parent, and her life is ordinary. Even Hyein has to work part-time to meet her needs. Hyein is a smart student, so she applied for a job as a private tutor. He taught a rich student who is still in junior high school. As usual, the parents wanted to enroll their child at Cheongdam International High School. Actually, grades don't really matter to them. As long as they have money and connections, they can definitely send their children to Cheongdam International High School. But on the other hand, as parents, they are also worried because their kid is not good at math. Therefore, to anticipate it, they hired a math private tutor. Actually, it wasn't Hyein who registered as a private tutor, but her friend Sunju. She's a university student, and she asked Hyein to replace her so that Hyein can earn extra money. Besides that, Hyein is also having problems at her school. Initially, Hyein got the opportunity to take part in a student exchange program to New Zealand for free. But suddenly, the teacher informs that there is another student who is more worthy than Hyein to join the program, because that student has no parents and only lives with the grandmother. Hearing the news, Hyein was quite disappointed because she will be replaced by another student. Now Hyein has to pay $3,500 if she still wants to take part in a student exchange in New Zealand. Hyein has now started teaching math private lessons. The middle school student is named Naeyeon, and as a rich kid, she has a lifestyle that amazes Hyein. Naeyeon likes to waste her money buying luxury items like bags worth $3,000 and $5,000 even though Naeyeon doesn't need them. Meanwhile, Hyein, who needs $3,500 to go to New Zealand, has to work hard to earn that money. Hyein then tells Naeyeon's attitudes to Sunju. Hyein said that even though they worked hard, rich people would still look down on poor people like them. At that time, Sunju also told Hyein that there is a poor student on her campus, but this student showed off luxurious items so that other friends assumed she came from a wealthy family. The next day, Hyein returned to teaching, but that day, Naeyeon came home late, so Hyein was asked to wait in Naeyeon's room. While waiting, Hyein looks through Naeyeon's goods. Hyein also tries to use Naeyeon's bag and takes photos and then posts it on her social media. However, the post turned out to be viral. All the students at her school are shocked because they think that Hyein is a rich kid. They also protest and get angry at Hyein because she has applied for an exchange program as an underprivileged student. At first, Hyein is confused because her friends think of her as a rich person. But after that, he realized that his post on social media had gone viral. This made all the students at his school think that he was a rich kid who pretended to be poor when he was at school. Then Hyein remembers a story about Sunju's friend who pretended to be rich to get public attention and increase his social media followers. Therefore, Hyein took this opportunity to confess that she really was born into a wealthy family. From then on, Hyein often showed off photos of luxury and branded items even though they all belonged to Naeyeon. Hyein also said that she works part-time to earn her own money because her parents did not give her pocket money. While the luxury items that she got were gifts from the parents of the students that should have been given to their kids, it was from here that Hyein's classmates became in awe of her. Not only that, Hyein's friends also suggested that she upload photos of luxury goods more often so that her followers would quickly increase and she could get endorsements. From the endorsement, Hyein will get paid between $3,000 to $4,000 per month. Knowing this, Hyein is even more passionate about teaching and always arrives early. Before Naeyeon went home, Hyein tried on all of Naeyeon's clothes and took photos of all the luxury items and then posted them on social media. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the scene shows bullying that occurred at Cheongdam International High School. In this school, there is a student named Bak Jina. She's a famous student at the school. Her parents' wealth makes all students fear her. Amongst the ranks of wealthy students, Bak Jina was in the first rank because her parents were the wealthiest. That's what makes Bak Jina rule at Cheongdam International High School. Because of her power, Bak Jina never likes poor students. According to her, Cheongdam International High School is only specifically for rich people and is not suitable for poor students who get scholarships. Students who enter Cheongdam International High School on a scholarship program will always be bullied. The goal is to get them out of the school. Even if there are students who complain about Bak Jina's behavior and her gang to the teacher, then that student will be expelled from school. Actually, the one who reported the bullying was a student named Kim Hanan. But the victims of the bullying will still leave the school because he can no longer afford the treatment of rich students. Kim Hanan indeed reported and asked someone to catch the bully kids. But all of that doesn't work because no one dares to be with Bak Jina. Kim Hanan is also a student of equal education, who is definitely not a rich kid, and she also always gets bullied. Even though Bak Jina likes to bully other students, she is not a stupid student. It turned out that her intelligence was extraordinary. Even in every lesson, Bak Jina just fell asleep, but what her teacher taught was always imprinted in her brain. The scene again shows Hyein. This time, she finds a very expensive premium uniform from Cheongdam International High School. The uniform was prepared by Nayeon's mother if her daughter was accepted at the school. Secretly, Hyein took the uniform and tried to put it on. Then, as usual, she flaunted it on social media. But suddenly, Nayeon comes home, and at that time, Hyein is very panicked because she is still wearing Nayeon's Cheongdam High School uniform. Because Hyein didn't have time to change her clothes, she immediately hid under the bed. But unfortunately, Hyeon's cell phone rings, so Nayeon knows her whereabouts. And in the end, all of Hyeon's actions will reveal that all this time Hyeon was using Nayeon's stuff to post on her Instagram. And because she was already found out, finally Hyeon also admitted that she was not Sunju, and she had only replaced Sunju to become a private tutor. Hyeon is very scared because Nayeon will report this to her mother, and if convicted, then Hyeon could go to jail. But in reality, Nayeon will not report Hyeon, but on one condition. Hyeon has to help Nayeon with her school homework and is an assistant when Nayeon goes somewhere. Even Hyeon is like being made a slave by Nayeon. Day by day, Nayeon's behavior is getting worse. Hyeon is not only asked to do Nayeon's homework, but all of her friends' homework as well. But Hyeon had no other choice. She was forced to do all of this so as not to be reported to Nayeon's mother. But one day, something happened that annoyed Hyeon. At that time, Hyeon was having an exam, but Nayeon suddenly called her and asked her to pick up the interview script at her house. That day, Nayeon is going to do an interview test at Cheongdam International High School, but the interview script is left at home. Nayeon threatens Hyeon if Nayeon doesn't pass the entrance exam at the high school, then she will reveal everything that Hyeon has done. This situation really made Hyeon very panicked. On the other hand, she also has to take an exam at her own school, but no matter what, she couldn't refuse Nayeon's request. Finally, Hyeon decided to immediately pick up the interview script at Nayeon's house and drive it to Cheongdam International High School. Arriving at the school, Hyeon overheard Nayeon and her friends talking, and it turned out that Nayeon was playing Hyeon. Of course, Hyeon was very upset at that time, and she thought that that's the fate of poor people. They will always be played by rich people. Even though at that time, Nayeon was not in a hurry to get the interview script, because Nayeon just pranks Hyeon. Knowing the fact, Hyeon was sad and very frustrated. She felt how difficult it is to be poor. Hyeon then headed to the toilet, and suddenly, there was a female student from Cheongdam International High School who gave a hair tie to Hyeon. This student is Kim Hayan. And yes, she has the same name as Hyeon. And at that time, Hyeon found a sticky note that read "Poor Kid" on Kim Hayan's uniform, because she too was a poor student who was bullied at Cheongdam High School. After that, Hyeon brought a bucket full of water and asked some of the students there for the interview room. Hyeon then went into the room and silenced everyone there. Full of anger, Hyeon approached Nayeon and doused her with water. Because of this incident, Nayeon's mother scolded and cursed at Hyeon. It even makes the school committee consider Nayeon to be accepted at Cheongdam High School. The headmaster of Cheongdam High School thinks that Nayeon has caused trouble at school, and that makes Nayeon get a grade deduction. Nayeon's mother threatens to destroy Hyeon's life and make her suffer. In the end, Hyeon also gets a suspension from her school for falsifying documents and also causing trouble at other schools. From that action, Hyeon threatened to be expelled from her school. Hyeon is also reported for stealing Nayeon's belongings. Therefore, there is no other choice but to expel Hyeon from school. Not only that, now Hyeon's lie about herself being a rich kid has also been uncovered. Hyeon is ostracized by other students, her pride seems to be trampled, and she becomes the talk of the school. But Hyeon doesn't care. She deletes all photos on her social media and makes her account private. In the following days, Hyeon goes through her school activities as usual, even though all students stay away from her. But in the middle of class, Hyeon suddenly goes to meet the principal of Cheongdam High School. She begs the principal of Cheongdam High School to accept Nayeon at that school. Hyeon admits all her mistakes, and she also conveys that she is actually a good student and always gets good grades. But unfortunately, the request was rejected outright. Even the headmaster questioned why he was helping the poor. He would not benefit at all. Saddened, Hyein leaves from there. But before that, Hyein went to the bathroom first. Hyein doesn't know that there is a male student hiding to smoke in that female bathroom. The student's name is Lee So-mang. This male student was shocked and scared, so he immediately hid his cigarette on the roof. He sneaks out of there, hoping Hyein doesn't see him. But unfortunately, Hyein realizes it and catches So-mang. Hyein thinks that So-mang is a pervert who likes to sneak into girls' bathrooms, but So-mang explains that he only smoked in that bathroom. So-mang also explained that the girls' bathroom was never used again after a student gave birth in the bathroom, so no students dared to go there. So-mang then remembers that Hyein was a student from another high school who had brought a bucket to the interview room, and that's why So-mang called her Bucket Girl. Hyein then promises not to report about So-mang smoking at school, but instead So-mang has to tell where the principal's car is parked. Having no choice, So-mang finally tells Hyein. That night, Hyein intends to wait for the principal to come home. She will intercept the principal and again beg him to accept Naeyeon into Cheongdam International High School. But after hours of waiting, Hyein accidentally fell asleep. What's more, it turns out that the principal's car is not only one, and coincidentally that night the principal uses another car, so Hyein doesn't know that the principal has left school. Meanwhile, Hyein assumes that the principal is still at school. Then Hyein approached the car, and surprisingly suddenly there was a student who fell from the roof of the school. Hyein was very shocked and panicked because the student was covered in blood and dying. This incident made Hyein witness the suicide incident of a Cheongdam International High School student whose name is the same as her, Kim Haein, and they had met before. The principal immediately got the news and asked his assistant to fake the incident, as if Kim Haein committed suicide due to stress from schoolwork. However, in reality, this kind of thing often happens in Korea. At that time, there was one thing that kept the principal thinking, that there was an eyewitness at the crime scene, and that person was Kim Haein. The next day, Hyein comes home from the hospital, and in front of her house is Naeyeon's mother. Initially, Hyein was worried because Naeyeon's mother suddenly came. Hyein is worried that Naeyeon's mother wants to meet with her father and complain about everything Hyein has done. But it turns out that Naeyeon's mother actually gave a gift to Hyein because Naeyeon's mother thought that Hyein had a special relationship with the principal of Cheongdam International High School. At that time, Hyein was still confused about what was really going on. And when Hyein turned on her cell phone, it turned out that there were many incoming messages and missed calls, and one of them was from the principal of Cheongdam High School. The headmaster texted Hyein to call him back, and out of curiosity, Hyein immediately called the principal. And unexpectedly, it turns out that the principal will accept Hyein as a student at Cheongdam High School on the condition that Hyein must keep her mouth shut about the incident of Kim Haein's death. As it turns out, Hyein saw someone on top of the building, so it's possible that Kim Haein had been killed by someone. Therefore, the principal asks Hyein to hide the fact, and Hyein will be accepted at Cheongdam High School. Hyein finally agreed to the offer. Hyein immediately packed up her things from her old school. All the students there seemed to dislike Hyein, and when Hyein had left, suddenly a student reported that Hyein had actually moved to Cheongdam International High School. Instantly, it made all the students surprised because it was a special school for rich people. The next day, the principal's personal assistant comes to Hyeon's house to give her Cheongdam High School uniform. Hyeon then immediately tried it, and she couldn't believe that she could attend Cheongdam High School. This is an opportunity for Hyeon to change her life because graduates from Cheongdam High School will no longer doubt their quality. But before that, Hyeon wants to look really rich. She then went to the mall and bought limited edition shoes using all her savings. Hyeon wants to look beautiful on her first day at school because first impressions will affect whether she will be accepted at the school or not. Also, with Hyeon wearing Cheongdam High School's uniform at the mall, she becomes highly respected by the vendors because they know that students from Cheongdam High School are rich kids. But suddenly, someone accidentally bumps into Hyeon, causing her drink to spill and her shoebox to get wet. Hyeon is worried if her new shoes get coffee stains, but when she cleans it up, she finds a small letter, and the writing on the letter accuses Hyeon of having committed the murder. Suddenly, Hyeon was very frightened by the letter. She then wants to find out who hit her earlier. But unfortunately, Hyeon couldn't find that person. And when Hyeon returns to the bathroom, her shoes are gone. Hyeon tries to find her shoes but can't find them anywhere. And suddenly, someone came out of the toilet and she was wearing the same shoes that Hyeon bought. And it turns out that person is Bak Ji-na. Hyeon still doesn't know who Bak Ji-na is, so Hyeon immediately accuses Bak Ji-na and curses her for stealing people's things. And finally, there was a commotion between them. Then, a flashback scene shows what happened earlier. So actually, Bak Ji-na also bought the same shoes as Hyeon. Bak Ji-na also meets a woman who is thought to have stolen her father from her mother. The woman was an ordinary person and was not wealthy. Bak Jiena thinks that the woman has taken advantage of her father. Because of that, Bak Jiena remembered that her parents' relationship was not going well, so Bak Jiena felt sad and immediately released her emotions in the bathroom. And after Bak Jiena dropped out, that's when he met Hyein. Actually, Hyein had accused the wrong person, but Hyein managed to take Bak Jiena's shoes without realizing that she was the one who had taken other people's things. After that, Hyein returned to the shoe store and asked for a new box. But unfortunately, the employees at the store couldn't give it away because the shoes were limited edition items. Until finally, Hyein took the expensive shoes home in a plastic bag. Meanwhile, Bak Jiena came home without shoes and her nose was also bleeding. The next day, Hyein starts attending Cheongdam International High School. She came to the school full of charm. Hyein is so confident that she will impress the students at school because she wears expensive shoes. Hyein really hopes that by studying at Cheongdam International High School, she can change her pathetic life. Hyein started walking around and looking at several places in the school. She was very amazed because there were many luxurious facilities there. And at that time, Hyein also accidentally met So-Mang again. So-Mang then took Hyein for a tour and also introduced her to the school environment. But suddenly, a male student named Seo Do-hyun came. For some reason, he forced Hyein to come with him, because previously Hyein had problems with So-Mang. In the end, Hyein wanted to go with Seo Do-hyun. At that time, Seo Do-hyun took Hyein to a place. Here, Seo Do-hyun gives Hyein his phone number. Not only that, he also offers to help Hyein if she ever gets into trouble at the school. Because of this, Hyein is excited and thinks that Seo Do-hyun likes her. But that hope vanished when Hyein saw Seo Do-hyun's story with his girlfriend. And suddenly, Hyein was hit by a mysterious student again. Not only that, Hyein also got attention from all the students there. The students seemed to not want to approach Hyein. However, Hyein didn't care about this. The important thing was that she didn't have a problem. But to her surprise, when Hyein opened her locker, she found the shoes and the box. And there was a threat written on the box. Instantly, Hyein realized that she had taken Bak Jiena's shoes. And finally, here's the reason why all students at Cheongdam International High School stay away from Hyein. It turns out that the news about Hyein's fight with Bak Jiena has spread. All students think that Hyein doesn't know herself because she took Bak Jiena's shoes. Moreover, Hyein is a poor student who dares to defy Bak Jiena. On the first day of school, Hyein has been bullied by her classmates, and they are Bak Jiena's men. It turned out that what Hyein had thought was inversely proportional to reality. Hyein hopes that by dressing like a rich person, the students at that elite school will like her. But in reality, Hyein was already in trouble even on her first day because she had dared to challenge the school's ruler. And because of that, Hyein immediately ran away looking for a safe place because she was being chased by the students. Hyein asked the principal for help, but the principal doesn't care because it is indeed a risk for Hyein to attend Cheongdam International High School on a scholarship program. The principal also gives Hyein choices between staying at Cheongdam International High School with a scholarship or returning to her dark past. And in the end, Hyein had no other choice but to stay. She then left with great sadness because what she expected was really very different from reality. Hyein is still hiding from Bak Jiena's gang. But unfortunately, Hyein was found out again. And here, Bak Jiena immediately explained that she was the ruler of Cheongdam International High School. Even all the students in this school are afraid of her. All the students are now after Hyein, and they will make her miserable to attend Cheongdam International High School. Hyein finally realizes that Bak Jiena is the daughter of a conglomerate. Hyein was still running to find a safe place, but suddenly she was helped by a female student. That student was named Oh Shai-un, and she looked completely different from the other students. She looked so kind that she even lent Hyein her shoes. And this is the beginning of Hyein's meeting with Oh Shai-un. After that, Shai-un also told Hyein about Bak Jiena. She says that there is no one who can stand against Bak Jiena and her gang. They were noble disciples. But on the other hand, Hyein doesn't want to involve Shai-un in her problems. Therefore, Hyein left the room. But unfortunately, Hyein gets caught by Bak Jiena's gang and she is chased by them again. Hyein then remembers Seo Do-hyun's offer of help. Therefore, Hyein tries to send a message to him so he can help Hyein, who is being chased by Bak Jiena's group. Here, Hyein also recorded a video of their bullying act and intends to spread the video. But unfortunately, they all don't care. They even laugh at Hyein's attitude. They think that it is a useless act done by poor people. In the end, Hyein had no other choice. She jumped from the second floor, but luckily, Seo Do-hyun came on time. He managed to catch Hyein, who jumped from the second floor. After hearing the news that Seo Do-hyun helped Hyein, Bak Jiena was very upset. Not only that, Bak Jiena also got even angrier when her father took her to lunch with his mistress. Bak Ji-na's father's purpose in doing this was to introduce the woman to Bak Ji-na. Moreover, currently the woman is pregnant with a child of Bak Ji-na's father. Knowing this, Bak Ji-na's feelings are getting destroyed. She then went to her mother's house. Bak Ji-na feels sorry for her mother because at this time her mother feels devastated after learning that Bak Ji-na's father is already with another woman. Every day, Bak Ji-na's mother takes out her grief by getting drunk. Not only that, Bak Ji-na's mother's condition was also bad. She was often sick. Meanwhile, on the other hand, now Hyein is with Seo Do-hyun on the school roof. Hyein again feels that Seo Do-hyun likes her. Seo Do-hyun really cares about Hyein, he even apologizes for what his friends did. At that time, Seo Do-hyun revealed that he liked a female student named Kim Hyein. Initially, Hyein thought that the female student in question was her. Hyein thinks that this is the time when she finds her prince. But the Kim Hyein in question was the student who some time ago fell from the top of the building. Seo Do-hyun's intention of approaching Hyein is to find out who killed Kim Hyein. Seo Do-hyun knows that Hyein was accepted into Cheongam International High School because Hyein has kept a piece of evidence about Kim Hyein's murder. Seo Do-hyun asked Hyein to tell him who had pushed Kim Hyein from the roof of the building. But Hyein is disappointed after knowing the fact because it turns out that Seo Do-hyun had a certain intention when approaching her. However, Hyein won't tell anyone because she promised the principal to keep her mouth shut. But Hyein is smart enough. She takes advantage of this condition by ordering Seo Do-hyun to pretend to be her boyfriend, so that Hyein won't be bullied by Bak Ji-na's gang. Seo Do-hyun is a fairly well-known student at the school. Apart from being the headmaster's son, he is also known for his cold nature. He is also one of the brilliant students in that elite school besides Bak Ji-na. That is what makes all the students unable to approach Seo Do-hyun. And it turns out that Hyein's plan actually worked. Instantly, the students in her class didn't bully Hyein anymore. They even want to become close friends with Hyein. They also invite Hyein to go to a party held by the female students. We could say that this was a special party for upper-class students only, but Hyein refused to come to the party because she felt it was inappropriate for her. But Sunju convinced Hyein that this was a chance for her to mingle and get close to the other students. In the end, Hyein agreed to attend the party, but since she doesn't have a fancy dress, she calls Naeun again to borrow a fancy dress. And unexpectedly, Naeun willingly lends it, but with one condition: Hyein may not stay in the dress at all because the dress is very expensive at $8,000. At night, Hyein goes to a party and is escorted by Sunju. Her unusual appearance made Hyein feel uncomfortable, but Sunju convinced Hyein to stay confident and prove that she deserves to be in their circle. Hyein then entered the room and there were already a lot of students who came. They all looked very elegant with fancy dresses. When Hyein walked into the room, all eyes were on her because she was wearing a very expensive dress. Hyein then took a glass of drink, but suddenly she was nudged by a female student who invited her to this party. Luckily, Hyein managed to hold the glass so it didn't fall all over her dress. Then one of Bak Ji-na's partners, Min Yul-hee, tries to help Hyein, but it turns out Yul-hee has evil intentions. She deliberately pushed Hyein and spilled a drink on Hyein's dress. Suddenly, Hyein panicked, and at the same time, Bak Ji-na came to the party. Bak Ji-na's arrival surprised everyone because usually Bak Ji-na never came to such an event. But it turns out there is a reason for all that. On purpose, Bak Ji-na spills a bottle of wine on Hyein's dress. Fearlessly, Hyein stood up to fight Bak Ji-na. But Hyein was stopped by two waitresses who were there. Again and again, Hyein doesn't know that actually, the cafe that was used for the party belonged to Bak Ji-na's parents. That's why all the servants there will clearly obey every order from Bak Ji-na. Hyein is confused about where to find money to replace Naeun's dress. She tried to ask her father with reasons for school needs, but it was clear that her father didn't have that kind of money. Even Hyein's brother is also angry because Hyein asked their father for such a large amount of money. On the other hand, Bak Ji-na is meeting with Naeun. It turns out that the two of them conspired to prank Hyein. Everything has been planned by Bak Ji-na, and that's why Naeun is happy to lend her dress. Hyein is still trying to find a way to get money, and at night, Hyein meets someone. Incidentally, So-mang saw Hyein. So-mang rushed to help Hyein because he thought that the person was a fraud who wanted to lend money to teenagers. But So-mang had the wrong idea because it turned out that Hyein was selling her goods to that person. Due to this misunderstanding, Hyein has to give the buyer a discount. And of course, that made Hyein angry with So-mang. Hyein has to think again to get money. She had to find a part-time job and sell her things. The next day, Hyein meets Bak Ji-na again. At that time, Hyein immediately firmly asked Bak Ji-na not to bother her anymore. But Bak Ji-na actually made an offer to Hyein. Bak Ji-na will pay for Nayeon's dress if Hyein drops out of Cheongdam International School. But if Hyein doesn't want to, then Bak Ji-na will continue to bully Hyein until she leaves Cheongdam High School. Hyein is given 1 week to make up her mind. She must drop out of Cheongdam High School and her debt to Nayeon will be paid off, or she will stay at the school and find the money to pay off the debt herself. When Hyein is confused, Shai-eun provides a solution. She suggests Hyein borrow money from a nerd student named Lee Duk-min. The nerd student was used to lending his money. Who knew Hyein could get the money from Lee Duk-min? Hyein then tries Shai-eun's suggestion, and sure enough, Lee Duk-min immediately gives Hyein $3,000. But all that is not free. Every week there will be interest on the loan if Hyein doesn't pay it back. In addition, Lee Duk-min also offered that there would be additional money if Hyein would help him. Apparently, Lee Duk-min likes to collect photos of girls in cute costumes. Lee Duk-min will pay Hyein if she agrees to be photographed in a cute costume. With no other choice, Hyein complied with Lee Duk-min's wishes so she could earn extra money. Hyein is willing to lower her self-esteem for money, but the job can be considered quite expensive, because per hour will be valued at $3,000 to pose and wear funny costumes. But not only that, Lee Duk-min would be willing to pay Hyein even more if Hyein was willing to change clothes in front of him. And reluctantly, Hyein does it so she can get extra money to pay for Nayeon's dress. On the other hand, Seo Do-hyun is still trying to find out who was behind the murder of Kim Ha-in. Seo Do-hyun misses Kim Ha-in very much after that incident because he really loves Kim Ha-in. Seo Do-hyun tries to find the CCTV footage on the date of the incident, but unfortunately the file is empty and inaccessible. Previously, Seo Do-hyun had forced Hyein to tell him who tried to kill Kim Ha-in because he felt he had done Hyein's request to pretend to be her boyfriend. But Hyein still can't tell Seo Do-hyun because she promised the principal. Hyein then said that she saw a silhouette of a woman's shadow. Seo Do-hyun wonders who the woman who killed Kim Ha-in is. On the other hand, Hyein still often remembers the incident when Kim Ha-in fell from the roof of the school building. At that time, Kim Ha-in gave a necklace to Hyein, and that necklace might become evidence and reveal who pushed Kim Ha-in. The next day, Bak Ji-na's father's mistress comes to Cheongdam International High School. The woman's name is Ha Min-hee, and it turns out that teacher who used to be an English teacher at the school, but now she is no longer teaching because she is in a relationship with Bak Ji-na's father. Because of this, Bak Ji-na was again annoyed to see teacher coming to Cheongdam High School. Plus, the woman came escorted by Bak Ji-na's father's personal assistant. Then there was an argument between them, and it was here that teacher her showed her true attitude. She said that the baby she was carrying was male and that the child would definitely become the heir to Bak Ji-na's father's company. And it's true that teacher has an evil plan to take over Bak Ji-na's family's treasure. And suddenly, Hyein comes to help Bak Ji-na. Hyein claims to be Bak Ji-na's senior and then asks her to leave. From that incident, Hyein knew that Bak Ji-na's father would have 2 wives. Bak Ji-na then gets angry because she doesn't want to be pitied by Hyein. Bak Ji-na thinks that Hyein will take advantage of her after knowing her family's secret. But it turns out that Hyein didn't come for that purpose. Instead, she wanted to pay for the dress she had promised. Hyein says that she will stay at Cheongdam International High School and will not beg for mercy from Bak Ji-na to pay off her debt to Nayeon. Now, Hyein really doesn't get bullied at all at Cheongdam International High School. Her life is peaceful, like the other students. At first, she thought that Seo Do-hyun was doing this so that Bak Ji-na wouldn't bully her anymore. But in fact, it was Bak Ji-na herself who didn't want to bully Hyein anymore, because Hyein already knew Bak Ji-na's family's secret. Besides that, Bak Ji-na also respects Hyein's persistence. Shortly after that, Seo Do-hyun again asked Hyein to tell who was the perpetrator of Kim Ha-in's murder. Seo Do-hyun wants Hyein to help him again, and he wants to keep pretending to be dating Hyein. At first, Hyein refuses because she has no problems at this school anymore, but Seo Do-hyun threatens that he will tell his father that Hyein doesn't know for sure who tried to kill Kim Ha-in. And in the end, Hyein wants to help Seo Do-hyun to find the murderer of Kim Ha-in. But it turns out that Hyein's problems don't stop there. Hyein suddenly gets a video message where she accepts Lee Duk-min's offer to change clothes in front of him. Threats about the video discouraged Hyein because she was afraid that the video would be shared, and Shai-eun is worried about Hyein, who is always gloomy. Shai-eun then asked about Hyein's condition by writing a message in Hyein's book. Later that night, Hyein looks back at the threatening letter she received. Instantly, she discovered the fact that the writing style in the threat letter was the same as Shai-eun's writing in her book. It was then that Hyein realized that the person who had been stalking her was Shai-eun. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Shai-eun is visiting Kim Ha-in, who is still alive. But right now, Kim Ha-yeon was still in a coma. Sha-yeon says that Seo Do-yeon still likes Kim Ha-yeon because Seo Do-yeon doesn't know what Kim Ha-yeon really did. It turns out that Sha-yeon used to be the daughter of a rich family, and her parents' names were also in the top ranking along with Bak Ji-na's parents. But unfortunately, her parents' company went bankrupt and her parents had to go to jail. That's why Sha-yeon, who was initially flattered, is now ostracized at school. In fact, she used to be a good friend of Bak Ji-na too. But after her parents went bankrupt, Bak Ji-na stayed away from Sha-yeon. Bak Ji-na was already suspicious of Shi-yeon and thought that Sha-yeon was using Ha-yeon to carry out her plans. However, Sha-yeon doesn't admit that she is close to Ha-yeon. Even though Bak Ji-na had seen Ha-yeon together with Sha-yeon, then Bak Ji-na also accused Sha-yeon of planning something because Sha-yeon was a person who was never friendly with the poor. Sha-yeon threatens Bak Ji-na back and says that she already knows about Bak Ji-na's family and father's secrets, so that Sha-yeon can also divulge the secret. Ha-yeon is now in Sha-yeon's room and messes everything up to find out where Sha-yeon hid the video. Unfortunately, Ha-yeon doesn't find anything until Sha-yeon arrives. Because Ha-yeon already knew about it, Sha-yeon said everything that actually Lee Duck-min had deliberately recorded Ha-yeon secretly. Because Sha-yeon knows about Lee Duck-min's hobbies, she asks him for the tape. Sha-yeon also tells that Bak Ji-na was having problems with Kim Ha-yeon, who knows about the secret affair of Bak Ji-na's father. Because of this, Kim Ha-yeon, who is known to be an innocent girl, turned out to be blackmailing Bak Ji-na and threatening to reveal her family's secrets. Therefore, there is a possibility that it was Bak Ji-na who tried to kill Kim Ha-yeon. Thus, Sha-yeon devised a plan. Sha-yeon deliberately traps Ha-yeon to meet Lee Duck-min, so that Ha-yeon is willing to do whatever Lee Duck-min asks to get money. Then Sha-yeon threatened to share the video. If Ha-yeon doesn't want the video to be shared, Ha-yeon has to admit that it was Bak Ji-na who pushed Kim Ha-yeon from the roof of the school building. Sha-yeon gave Ha-yeon a week to think about her offer. Elsewhere, Bak Ji-na is seeing her mother who is being treated at the hospital. Bak Ji-na then reminisces about her happy past with her mother. Bak Ji-na also feels devastated seeing her mother's current condition. After school, Ha-yeon saw a banner about Kim Ha-yeon's murder. On the banner was written a plea for justice and asked anyone who knows the facts of the incident to report it. Ha-yeon feels very guilty for covering up the facts about Kim Ha-yeon's attempted murder. She regretted just to be able to attend Cheongdam International High School. She had to turn a blind eye to crime. Shortly after, Bak Ji-na runs into Ha-yeon on the street. Ha-yeon suddenly apologizes to Bak Ji-na because of her attitude all this time. But it turns out that Bak Ji-na is now on Ha-yeon's side. Bak Ji-na thinks that Ha-yeon is not the same as Kim Ha-yeon who tried to commit suicide. Not only that, Bak Ji-na also asked Ha-yeon to be careful with Sha-yeon. The next day, Seo Do-yeon and Ha-yeon try to find the flash drive containing Ha-yeon's videos. They found many drives containing videos of Lee Duck-min's victims. It turned out that it wasn't only Ha-yeon who did this, but almost hundreds of female students. Ha-yeon then finds a flash drive written Kim Ha-yeon. Then, Ha-yeon asked So-meng for help to threaten Lee Duck-min to delete all the nasty videos, especially Ha-yeon's videos. After that, So-meng will also take Sha-yeon's laptop. And finally, all the drives are now in Ha-yeon's hands. After that, Ha-yeon tried to open the flash disk that had her name written on it. But it turns out to be a flash disk about Kim Ha-yeon, who's still in a coma. The video shows an affair between Kim Ha-yeon and a student named Park Woo-jin. Ha-yeon was very surprised by all of this. She kept thinking who Kim Ha-yeon really was and what had happened to her. Now Ha-yeon has two pieces of evidence about the Kim Ha-yeon murder case. The first is a necklace, and the second is this flash drive. These two items will be able to reveal who is the perpetrator of the attempted murder of Kim Ha-yeon. And it will also reveal who Kim Ha-yeon really is. The next day, Sha-yeon asked Ha-yeon's promise to immediately tell people that it was Bak Ji-na who pushed Kim Ha-yeon from the top of the building. Ha-yeon is getting confused. If she does what Sha-yeon asks, then she will definitely be expelled from school. Meanwhile, if Ha-yeon does not comply with Sha-yeon's request, then her video with Lee Duck-min will be shared. But at that time, Ha-yeon asked Sha-yeon for the flash drive containing Kim Ha-yeon and Woo-jin's video. Surprisingly, it turns out that Sha-yeon also knows about the video. Sha-yeon then confirmed again that Kim Ha-yeon was indeed having problems with Bak Ji-na. Even Kim Ha-yeon often threatens Bak Ji-na. So it was certain that the one who pushed Kim Ha-yeon off the roof of the building was Bak Ji-na. So at that time, Sha-yeon also threatened Kim Ha-yeon that the video of her and Woo-jin would be spread throughout the school. Sha-yeon also asked Kim Ha-yeon to do something if Kim Ha-yeon didn't want the video to be spread. After knowing this fact, Hyein goes to So-mang and asks for his help to stop Shai-un from threatening her again. And it turns out that So-mang will happily try to help Hyein. In the evening, Seo Do-hyun invites Hyein to Yul-hee's birthday party. At first, Hyein didn't want to because she was afraid of being humiliated again. But Seo Do-hyun promised to take care of Hyein. Actually, Yul-hee and Park Woo-jin are dating, and they look very happy at the party. Even Woo-jin also treated all the guests very well. Hyein starts to get along with other wealthy students. Hyein has a lot of fun as she joins the celebration. But suddenly, Hyein accidentally saw the necklace Yul-hee was wearing, which was very similar to the necklace that Kim Hyein gave her when she fell from the roof of the school building. But not long after that, Bak Ji-na got into a fight with Seo Do-hyun. The two of them were close friends since childhood, but everything changed when Seo Do-hyun dated Kim Hyein. Bak Ji-na thinks Seo Do-hyun cut off their friendship just for Kim Hyein. But at that time, Seo Do-hyun even accused Bak Ji-na of trying to kill Kim Hyein. Seo Do-hyun is very sure of that because so far Bak Ji-na has never liked Kim Hyein. The debate heated up as they accused each other. Bak Ji-na then explained everything, that she hates Kim Hyein not because she is poor. Bak Ji-na hates her because she has taken advantage of her friends as well as Bak Ji-na. Then Bak Ji-na also exposed the affair between Park Woo-jin and Kim Hyein in front of everyone. Knowing this, Seo Do-hyun is furious with Woo-jin. He couldn't believe that his girlfriend was cheating on him with his best friend. But apparently he didn't like Bak Ji-na's actions earlier. And actually, Yul-hee has known about Woo-jin's affair for a long time. But she just pretends not to know so that her relationship with Woo-jin will be fine. He is angry with Bak Ji-na for messing up the party. So the fact is Kim Hyein is a bad poor student. She always blackmails and threatens the rich people in her school. From the video of her relationship with Woo-jin, it turns out that she doesn't panic. Even Kim Hyein was actually happy because with the video, she could threaten Woo-jin to always obey her. Kim Hyein only pretended to be sad in front of Shai-un when threatened. In addition, Kim Hyein also blackmailed and threatened Bak Ji-na that she would reveal the secret of Bak Ji-na's father if Bak Ji-na did not comply with her request. After the party was over, Bak Ji-na wanted to go home. But Hyein asked Bak Ji-na to come to her house. Bak Ji-na feels awkward being in the small house because she's not used to it. Hyein then shows a necklace that is exactly the same as the one worn by Yul-hee. This necklace cannot be bought by just anyone because the stock is limited. Only certain people can get it. Meanwhile, the necklace Yul-hee is currently wearing is the second necklace from Woo-jin. And indeed, only Woo-jin can buy the necklaces. Hyein then said that Seo Do-hyun and Shai-un thought that it was Bak Ji-na who had tried to kill Kim Hyein because Bak Ji-na seemed to have a problem with Kim Hyein. But Hyein had other thoughts. After seeing the necklace, Hyein assumes that the murderer is Yul-hee. The scene then flashbacks to the day the incident happened. That night, Kim Hyein threatened Woo-jin and told him to come to the roof of the school. But it was Yul-hee who came. At that time, Yul-hee confronted Kim Hyein for cheating on her with her boyfriend. And because her emotions were unstoppable, he accidentally pushed Kim Hyein to the ground. And just then, Yul-hee's necklace was pulled by Kim Hyein. That night, he was very panicked, and there was Hyein who witnessed the accident. And from here, it was all revealed that the person who pushed Kim Hyein was Yul-hee. Scene returns to the present. Hyein is terrorized again by Shai-un because Hyein had not kept her promise to tell people that it was Bak Ji-na who had tried to kill Kim Hyein. In the evening, Shai-un calls Hyein and threatens to share Hyein and Lee Duck-min video that very night. But when Hyein tries to stalk Shai-un, suddenly Hyein sees a murder again. Shai-un fell from the roof of the school building because someone pushed her. The ending of this series still raises a mystery about who killed Shai-un, but it seems there are two possibilities. It could be that Bak Ji-na or So-mang killed Shai-un, because previously Hyein had asked So-mang to punish Shai-un. Meanwhile, Bak Ji-na also has problems with Shai-un.